Mike Leonard takes us to Des Moines, Iowa, for a story about Olympic hopes and Olympic memories.
Swimming like this, you look like a chicken. Okay, so stretch those arms out all the way past your hips.
His name is Mike Burton, and he coaches swimming in Des Moines, Iowa.
Grab the board and kick 6 times. No, Sarah. Stop your hands on the board and kick 6 times before you take the next arm stroke.
His pupils, still young enough to believe in the fairy tales of athletic glory, dive headlong into waters filled almost certainly with disappointment. But then, who is Mike Burton to stop them?
I've got some kids that are very, very hard workers, and they're very concerned about their future in the sport of swimming.
We all know people like Mike Burton, people who strive all their lives to achieve something and never quite get any recognition. As a coach, he'd like to lead a swimmer to the Olympic Games.
And so he pleads his case at an early morning breakfast meeting to a civic club in suburban Ankeny.
I feel that an indoor pool would greatly enhance the learn to swim situation here in the city of Ankeny.
On this day, it is polite applause that follows in his wake. Applause that turns into faded cheers for a man who, in the winter snow of Iowa, seems out of his element. It was the Olympics of 1968. This same Mike Burton won 2 gold medals. But fame went to another swimmer, to Debbie Meyer, who won 3.
It seems throughout my career there's always somebody, whether it be in the sport of swimming or some other sport, that would be, overshadow my experiences. And those times were disappointing. But you tend to forget them because you have no control.
Unless you try again, which Mike Burton did in 1972 at the Olympic Games in Munich. An old warrior, battling against competitors 10 years younger. He won another gold medal in the long-distance 1,500-meter swim, the only man in history to repeat that triumph. It was time to rest on his laurels.
And it's just getting too tough to hang on anymore, and I think after this I'm going to retire now.
But once again, he was to leave the pool a forgotten man. His thunder this time stolen by the greatest swimmer in Olympic history, Mark Spitz, the winner of 7 gold medals, the cover boy of 72, posters, ads, Olympic rewards reaped by others before and after him, Rafer Johnson, Peggy Fleming, Kathy Rigby, Dorothy Hamill, Bruce Jenner, whole teams, faces of Olympic champions that grace the pages of national magazines, the face of another champion found only on a family room wall.
There's never been any financial gain from it. I was interested at one time in trying to promote myself and doing something about it. I even traveled to New York and talked to a couple agents there. And they basically were not interested because I did not win 7 gold medals, and I only won 3.
3 gold medals, shielded from reflection by a cardboard box and 2 plastic bags.
They just said, the public won't buy you, and that's the name of the game.
A game that ended nearly 10 years ago.
Wind him up.
As a coach, Mike Burton has worked in Oregon, Utah, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Iowa, moving up and raising a family along the way.
I don't think I would have changed anything. A lot of my swimmers realize my accomplishments, but I want them to experience their own success. So I try to push them as hard as I push myself to succeed. For me, that's exciting.
3 flat, 3-6. Nice job.
For today, Mike Leonard, NBC News, Des Moines, Iowa.
Draw a crowd, and today was one of those rare occasions. With the Barcelona Olympics coming up in July, our area Olympians were brought together to share some of their experiences in today's California Gold Moment.
This California Gold Moment is sponsored by Pactel Cellular, service above and beyond the call.
Nearly 40 current and former Olympians from Northern California were honored this afternoon by the Sacramento Sports Commission and Channel 3. The salute to the athletes brought out a flood of fans as well as a mountain of memorabilia. There were newspaper clips, uniforms, snapshots, and a load of Olympic medals. But most of all, there were memories of the games.
I was 25 years old, not expected to win a medal at all, but I came in first place, won the gold, broke the world record, and surprised the world.
I never had any concept that I would ever come this far. I started doing sports in the beginning after my disability to regain my health and fitness. And once I regained that, people started pointing me towards competitive sports. And that wasn't something I was ever before, so competition was very new to me, and I liked it a lot, especially when I won.
I was kind of the epitome of the agony of defeat and the thrill of victory that you see on ABC's Wide World of Sports, you know, introduction in that. I finished fourth in the 200 freestyle by 1/10 of a second on one day, and I, you know, trained so long for an individual event, and then the next day winning a gold medal. So I just went from one extreme to the other.
It was a very special time, and even though it's been 32 years, it's still something that gives me a lot of pleasure to remember.
My gold medal was buried in the rubble of my house during the war, which collapsed in Budapest. And then I went back several weeks later and I dug it out from the snow and then the bricks and everything, which was on the top of it. So I found both of them. I found both the gold medal and also the medal which every participant got. So I have them here.
Boy,
that was a wonderful program.
It sure was, and those were only just a few of the stories.
That's right.
They went on forever and ever.
Yeah. There are 38 Olympians that were there today. 10 of them are either competing or still trying out for this year's Olympics.
Debbie Meyer, she's got a lot to tell.
Yeah, indeed.
News in a moment.
But be sure to join us tonight at 11 for an Olympic story that you will not see on NBC. This is Mike Burton. The Des Moines man has accomplished what most mortals can only dream about. He has 3 Olympic gold medals. At 11, Lori Groves will show us the moment in time that belonged to Mike Burton.
I'm looking forward to that story. That should be a good...
So far, no American swimmer has the claim to fame that one Des Moines man has. News Center 13's Lori Groves introduces us to 3-time Olympic gold medalist Mike Burton.
400, and the crowd here gives him a tremendous roar for his overwhelming victory in the 1500.
Mike Burton knows what the swimmers in Barcelona feel when they touch the board first.
How many people could sit around and say, well, I was the best in the world on that day? And of course it is on that day at that given time, because the records are changing so fast and different people are going faster, and so it doesn't last very long.
From 1968 to 1972, Mike Burton was the man to beat in the pool. But 3 gold medals in 2 different Olympics didn't buy a free ride back then.
When I was competing, there were maybe 2 or 3 athletes to come out of the Olympic Games with any kind of endorsement at all. And you know, it's a lot different now. The public's buying more of the Olympic symbol and things like that, where before, if you didn't score baskets or touchdowns or hit home runs, the public wouldn't buy you.
Now, Burton is the bartender at Johnny's Vets Club in Des Moines. He has several scrapbooks and his medals, but they've tarnished with time. But some things haven't changed. He still loves the sport.
I just get excited because the Olympic Games mean, you know, if you win there, you're the best in the world. And not many people can say that.
Mike doesn't get around the pools very much anymore, but I know you've seen him around town. His license plate gives him away. In Des Moines, Lori Groves, News Center 13.
And Mike Burton still gets requests for his autograph just today. He got a letter from someone in Georgia who had his old bubblegum sports card. He obliged the man with his signature right away. And this has got to be a special time of the year for Mike Burton.
Absolutely, and we're really lucky to have a 3-time gold medalist right here in Des Moines.
You betcha.
The forecast is coming up.